What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and welcome to episode 34 of For Love of the Game. And today, Queen's Park will be taking on our hated rivals of Clyde, as well as Stranraer in the League One competition. Both of those matches encompassing and encircling the end of the transfer window. And boy, did we make a lot of transfers in and out, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Before we get to those matches as well, we must go over how we've been faring in the league, and our form has taken quite a dip as of late. Queen's Park sitting in 6th place, only garnering 31 points through 23 matches. We're 1 point behind Clyde and 6 points away from that coveted 4th and final playoff spot. Morton are holding that spot currently. Queen of the South are leading the league at 54 points, and Berwick 7 points behind them. So let's take a look at the schedule and some of the matches to highlight. Since our double live com of Airdrie and Queen of the South, we've only won 2 matches out of the following 10. 4 draws as well, and the other 4 being losses. In the Scottish Cup, we drew against Hamilton, surprisingly drew against them in the away leg, 1-1, but coming back home to Hampden Park, we were overmatched completely, losing 3-1. We did hold them down for a good portion of time, but the defense was following a bend but don't break attitude, and in the 69th minute, ultimately, the defense did break, letting through 2 goals and ultimately sealing a Hamilton victory. And now we turn our attention to the league, and I'm only going to highlight the wins and the draws, as the losses we were played piss poor throughout the entirety of the match, only coming up with 2 goals in those 4 matches. So take a look first at the win versus Morton away from home, and I gotta say, we were really lucky coming away with this with all 3 points. We start off our goal scoring with a very, very lucky own goal from a Morton defender in the 65th minute. We then followed that up with Ryan Waters and then Sean Johnston 2 minutes later off of a penalty, as we then took away Morton's lead at that, because they were leading 2-1 going into those final 15 minutes. So coming away with the 3 points, very lucky for us. 12 shots, 7 of them on target. Nobody played particularly bad, except for Kenny Adamson there on the defense. Everyone else was above a 6-7. Following that up in the league was a 1-1 draw versus Stranraer, and we came away extremely lucky. First off, unlucky versus giving Stranraer an own goal in the 58th minute. Once again, Kenny Adamson just not playing well at all after bringing him into the side. But then Stephen Davidson, 2 minutes into stoppage time, very late doors goal, knotting it up and giving us a point, just stealing a point away from nothing. Then the loss to Clyde, and then we followed it up with a 1-1 draw to Albion Rovers, and once again a very lucky finish, as we only had 1 shot on target the entire game, and it just happened to be the goal from Kenny McNaughton. Kenny McNaughton, I should make mention that Kenny McNaughton is one of our youth side members. He just came up because I've been having a little bit of struggles at the center of the park, so I might as well try to bring up some of my youth players and get them in on the action. And this being his first goal for the club, definitely helping us out in getting a solid point versus a team that we should have dominated from the beginning, but at the same time, I'm still chopping and changing formation. The 5-2-3 is kind of working. The 4-5-1 kind of working. Nothing is completely working. I'm not putting together a solid match from start to finish, attack and defense, so I'm still tinkering around with that. We then followed that up with a 2-2 draw at home to Alloa. The Bees getting themselves a late goal as we took the lead at the 61st minute. Andy McKinnon starting off the match also with a 2nd-minute goal with a brace on the day. But then Alloa in the 55th knotting it up at 1, and then Chris Kane in the 81st knotting it up at 2-2. We only had 2 shots on target once again, both of them the goals, so we need to do a little better on our finishing. I tried to fix it around to help us get a little better on our finishing, but nothing has seemed to work completely. Following a loss to Berwick, we then came with a 2-1 victory away from home against Airdrie. John Watson, and then a very late doors goal from Ryan Waters in the 88th minute to help seal all 3 points. 14 shots, 6 of them on target, relatively even possession throughout. And once again, another bad day from Kenny Adamson. I've been trying to get him more playtime to see if he could do better, if it's just a training thing or if it's just a match thing. But at this point in time, I was thinking that I need to bring in more center backs, and that's what I focused on during the transfer window, is to try and get more center backs in to help fill the role. And then our final result, non-loss, was a 2-all draw versus Dumbarton, and Dumbarton were very lucky to scrape a point away from this, as we were holding a 2-0 lead going into halftime off of Stephen Davidson and Ryan Waters. Dumbarton getting one back in the 68th, and then the first minute of stoppage time, the defense went really, really leaky and allowed a goal to knot the match up at 2. Not the result I wanted, especially since we've been dominating Dumbarton for most of the season. In our previous matches, we've been holding them to a draw, and I think, is going back to the cup competitions where we beat them twice and then opened up the league play, beating them again. So we've had Dumbarton's number the entire season, and I thought for sure we would have gotten another victory here, but only came away with a draw. Very unfortunate. So now we get into our transfers and just take a look at the long list of outs. Don't look too much into that. A lot of them have been youth side members. There are 2 names in there that you have to take a look at and say, well, why did that happen? How'd they get let go? The first of them being Kenny O'Brien. Kenny O'Brien being a striker in a mass group of strikers that I have, just struggling to find fitness, to find form. I only started him twice. He's played in 8 matches overall. Yes, he did get 2 goals for us, but when I have Andy McKinnon, Stephen Davidson, and Darren O'Brien's been really good for us, the loanee in from Celtic. Kenny O'Brien has just been not living up to the standards that I had brought him in for, and even though he has a 6.73, he is the worst striker out of the 5 that I have. So I guess it was only right for me to just let him go because he wasn't producing. And then the other one of note was Graham Thompson, my 16-year-old goalkeeper, was snatched up by Dunfermline, which is fine. I wasn't really using him all that much in the first place. He was my backup goalkeeper to Chris Kettings since Greg Fleming went down for that season with that season-ending injury. So I didn't really, like I said, didn't really play him all that much. Didn't intend to play him all that much. He was going to be a perennial backup. But now that Dunfermline has snapped him up, I had to go out and get a goalkeeper proper, which I did, and I will highlight him in a little bit. But taking a look at the transfers since the first of the year, Ross Cruikshank is a right back. He is more of a developmental project than anything. He's going to be sitting in the under-21s. I like him for his speed, but I also want him to build up his crossing to be a proper right winger out there. We then brought in Jamie McCormick, and believe it or not, I was scouting him last season to try and bring him into the squad, and if you remember from a few episodes ago, I said that I was going after center back and brought in somebody who was my second choice. Jamie McCormick was my first choice, and by taking a look at some of his defensive stats, you'll understand why. A 12 in marking, 11 in tackling, a 12 in positioning, good leadership. The only thing that I question is his pace. He has a 10 on pace, 10 agility, 8 acceleration. He's good to just hold down that center back position and only play a limited defender. I don't want him to move around too much. He's fine just staying back there and not moving up. And like I said, this was my first choice center back out on the free agent market last season. He went to Cove Rangers, and then Cove Rangers just weren't going to re-sign his contract, so I brought him in, and I expect him to do well sitting at that back position. Then I also brought in Ewan McCormick. Ewan McCormick, a 21-year-old Scotsman. I like him a lot for his speed. 11 in pace, 13 acceleration. He could use a little work defensively, especially positioning-wise. He only has a 6 there, but he is a left back that I expect to take over for Michael Alexander in the near future, as well as Dougie Bothwell. Dougie Bothwell, who came up from my youth side. Ricky Smith. Ricky Smith is that goalkeeper that I did make mention to. He's 18 years old, and he does need a little bit of work, especially on the speed, but I'm not all that miffed if he doesn't get any faster. I just want him a little better in his shot stopping and his one-on-ones. He's only got a 6 there, but he has good reflexes, he's brave, and he concentrates. Other than that, backup goalkeeper. Then we have John Robertson. John Robertson is taking over on the right side especially if I play the 5-2-3 and use him in that right wing back role. He's 32 years old. He's getting up on there in age. He's decent in his speed, but he's good in his defensive abilities. 11 tackling, 9 marking, and 10 positioning, but everything else decent mentals, decent physically, and good technical skills. And then finally, Cameron McDonald. Cameron McDonald, another 32-year-old Scotsman. He's a center back and more than likely will be my starting center back along with Danny McNulty, or one of my top 3 choices if I go into the 5-2-3. But as you can see, good leader, great with teamwork, 13 marking, 10 on tackling, okay speed, decent player, but at the same time I am trying to get in better center backs, and this guy just popped out due to his defensive ability. But now I think it's time to get into these 2 matches, and first up, it is of course going to be our rivals in Clyde. Queen's Park going to be playing at home at Hampden Park. 931 people coming out to see this match, as Clyde coming out in a 4-5-1. We're going to be using the V formation, the reverse flying V, and the starting lineup for today will be Chris Kettings in net. We'll have Johnston, McDonald, McNulty, and Ewan McCormick getting his first start out there on the left wing. Cameron McDonald in his second match as he played in the match before. McCall taking up that center back or that defensive mid position. Watson and Downey sitting up in the middle. O'Brien and Davidson on the wings. And Andy McKinnon sitting up front, back up front after a little injury spell. But we'll kick off, see what happens, and hope for the best. And we kick off, and I don't know why that's coming up. Oh, I know why. It's because it went by in just a little bit. But Queen's Park, of course, going to be in the white and black hoops, and Clyde in the red. And already 21 minutes gone and nothing happening. And just give a little bit of encouragement to the boys. A lot of things that just have not been going on right for us. 30 minutes gone, still nothing. Offensively, nothing is coming together. But now with 1 minute left to go in the half, defense, good tackle. McCall throwing it way forward, but no one is out there. McKinnon trying to run past it, but like I said, nobody going at there. Clyde goalkeeper getting it forward, and Clyde now coming on with an attack. Defense, that was a really harsh tackle from McCormick there. They're doing well with the passing, ball going over the top. You saw that, right? You all saw that. Kettings went to go down and pick up the ball and misses it completely. Yeah, Kettings is getting a really bad talking to, because he shouldn't have done that. That was absolutely all on him. Could be 0-0 going into the half. A very boring 0-0 at that, but no, him missing that pickup completely is unacceptable. So now we got to come out and take it to him. More direct. Roam, play wider, do something else. So we come out in the second half and we need to stop this bleeding. Otherwise it will be 3 matches in a row that we would have lost. And so far we are not doing anything to turn this around. Players do not seem up for it. McCormick coming in for McNulty. Ryan Waters is going to start for Andy McKinnon now, or come into play for him. And Hamish Burr coming in for Darren O'Brien. All 3 subs with 20 minutes left to go. And like I said, we need to pull a goal somewhere. Tell them to push forward. We do have a highlight, I see. Into the box, and Davidson finally getting Queen's Park on the board. It's 1-1 in the 71st minute after there was a great cross in, and then the header to Davidson. Or from Davidson into the net. Still plenty of time to get ourselves a second goal and see if we can salvage maybe a victory. But as it is right now, we're going to be getting a point. 3 minutes of stoppage time, they've all come and gone. And the ref blows the whistle on this, a very dismal match. Only one highlight for each side, and both of them were goals, as it's a 1-all draw, Queen's Park and Clyde, not gaining any ground on each other. But I'm not pleased with what I saw with this team at all. It was a really bad performance. So we're staying in 6th place, and we can only hope that the match against Stranraer yields better results. So when we come back, it will of course be the end of the transfer window. I don't foresee any new transfers coming on my side. So when we come back, the match versus Stranraer. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alright, and here we are for the second match of the day. We are traveling out to Stranraer. Stair Park has just won over 1,000 people at their place. They're going to be coming out with 4-4-2. And once again, with another formation switch just to see what works, we're going to come out in an attacking 4-2-4. I know that may be a little bit extreme, but when we're trying to get back on track and get back to our winning ways, I'm looking for anything right now. So this is what we're going to do. And Kettings, of course, is going to be a net. Starting back line will be Johnson, McNiff, McNulty, and Alexander. The two center mids will be Robertson and McCall. Two wingers of Davidson and O'Brien. And sitting up front, Andy McKinnon and Ryan Waters. Hopefully this can bang in the goals, but we'll kick off and see what happens. Alright, and we kick off. Let's get this thing started. We're going from right to left, as we'll be in the black and white hoops. Stranraer coming out in the blue. Already 9 minutes on. Stranraer getting themselves a throw-in, but I was going to say dispossessions everywhere. It's a lot of midfield battles, but we do get the ball back. McNiff having to track back. Robertson finding McCall. McCall trying to lob it forward, but can't get the long ball. Long ball over the top for Stranraer there, and a good save by Kettings. And something needs to be done on our end, as we should probably be being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit better in terms of the attacking formation. And McCall has a knock. I'll probably keep him on for now. Yeah, I'll keep him on for now. 22 minutes gone, now a half an hour gone, and nothing has happened for us. We demand more. Queen's Park have had 7 shots, and only one of them on target. Sooner or later, one of them's got to be in, but that is not in for us, as Stranraer, off a free kick from 20 yards out, it's pretty much automatic from there. For anybody, it's 1-0 to Stranraer. Even though they've had little to no attacking chance. Here we come with an attack just before halftime. Davidson through to McKinnon. McKinnon rifles. Absolutely cannons it into the top left corner from the top of the penalty area. It's 1-1 after just 41 minutes, and now we're going into halftime with the 1-1 draw. It was great to come back, but I'm far from pleased with what I'm seeing, especially defensively. Need to do a little bit better. Midfield, not bad, and definitely people up front, you could do a lot better as well. Let's kick off second 45. Let's see if we can grab a goal and get a win here. We're not doing all that bad. It's just that that bad free kick, that very unfortunate free kick from 20 yards out from Stranraer is what's keeping them in the match. And this opening kick highlight just going on forever. Long ball forward to McKinn. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He could get something. Oh, leg save by that goalkeeper. We get a corner out of it. Alexander whipping it in far post, down in the box. It's a foul by Queen's Park, and that ends that. Tell the boys to push forward. Ryan Waters not having a very stellar day up front. Hopefully you can turn that around. Maybe you can play a little better, or sub him out then. 64 minutes gone. We have a corner, and that was rather well played, but even better saved by the Stranraer keeper. Long ball over the top. Now Stranraer get themselves an attacking chance. We need to close these guys down. Good tackle from Alexander, but you need to hold on to the ball. There we go. Long ball forward to Waters. Waters the only one who can get that. McKinnon is in the box. And was he onside? He was, and Queen's Park take themselves a 2-1 lead at the 65th minute. That was a great assist from Waters to pick out McKinnon. Now I'm going to make some subs. 73 minutes in this match gone. And McCall is going to be coming out for... Who am I going to play? Connor Rennie. Connor Rennie's going to come in for him. And then John Watson's going to come in for John Robertson. And finally, Kevin Baxter's going to come in for Danny McNulty. And there we go. All 3 subs made with 16 minutes left to go. Can we pull out a win? Time winding down, and one of my players gets a knock. I think I'm going to drop everyone back now. With 1 minute plus stoppage time left to go in this match, I'm going to drop everyone back, get rid of all the attacking mentalities here. And with 3 minutes of stoppage time pretty much come and gone, referee blows his final whistle. There it is, full time. Queen's Park getting a long-needed victory. 2-1 away from home over Stranraer. Good job, guys. Almost clicked I'm not pleased, but that victory sees us now over Clyde as we overtake them for 5th place. We are still 4 points behind Morton. And it looks like it's going to be down to a last day, or last couple of days, fight to try and stay in that, or try to get back into that promotion playoff zone. So it's going to be Alloa and Albion Rovers are going to be our final 2 matches. That's what's going to be coming up in the next episode. It's going to be Alloa and Albion Rovers. So until that time, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to watch more. Comments, suggestions, questions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.